Hi, and welcome to our audiobook series brought to you by Burgapoly Publishing. Let the journey begin. Today we are presenting
Chapter 15, The Water Plant. Valerie's gaze hardened. Her arm lifted, finger extended toward the horizon. What's that in the distance? John followed her line of sight, squinting. Tom exhaled. Probably more of those bird things. She narrowed her eyes. I don't see wings. John's pulse quickened. It could be more of those floating orbs. No, he murmured. It's a couple of flying cars. He straightened. We're definitely past the barrier. Tom's face split into a relieved grin. He thrust his fists into the air. All right! As the vehicles approached, their sleek frames gliding effortlessly over the water pipes, the group erupted into motion. They waved. They ran. The cars descended, touching down on the small landing pad inside the fence. The doors snapped open. Men in uniforms emerged. Guns drawn, movements sharp, practiced, controlled. They rushed forward, stopped, and raised their weapons. A standoff. Hands up. The command was absolute. John hesitated, only for a fraction of a second, then obeyed. The others did the same. Another figure emerged, a more prominent man, his uniform crisp but worn from use. He approached from the other side of the car, his voice sharp and authoritative. What are you people doing in here? His tone was more than just suspicion. It carried an accusation. This is a restricted area. John's hands remained up, his movements slow and deliberate. We were kidnapped. We escaped through the jungle. The large man stiffened. His eyes narrowed as if weighing the truth against his own expectations. Kidnapped? He repeated, his voice edged with disbelief. Yes, Tom blurted, his words tumbling out before his brain could stop them. We're college students. We came here for, college. The words felt absurd, hollow, too simple for what they had endured. She stepped forward, her voice measured, calm despite the tension. He's telling the truth. We were kidnapped just after we arrived. We're from Zemia. The man studied them, the weight of his scrutiny like a blade hanging by a thread. Identification. His demand was unwavering. John's stomach sank. He already knew how this would go. We don't have any, he admitted. They took it from us. The man's expression darkened. College students. He repeated the words slowly as if rolling them around in his mouth, testing their taste. Then his tone shifted, hardened. Drones attacked the city. I suppose you know nothing about that. John's eyes flickered with understanding. They weren't just suspects. They were convenient suspects. They attacked us too, Valerie interjected, her voice steady but edged with exhaustion. John seized the moment. They shot up the camp we were being held in. He let the words land, let them settle before adding, They killed all the men who kidnapped us. The man's brow furrowed. Where exactly is this camp supposed to be? His tone dripped with skepticism, doubt. John hesitated. A cold, sinking feeling settled in his gut. The man wasn't aware of any camp, which meant someone wanted to keep it that way. John's arm lifted, his hand steady as he pointed back toward the wilderness they had barely escaped. It's back that way, he said, voice firm, beyond the pumping station. The large man studied him, his expression unreadable, weighing the truth, then a decision. Okay, let's see if you're telling the truth. As if summoned by fate, another car approached, its engines humming as it descended. The man in charge barely spared it a glance before turning to one of his subordinates. Load them up. One of the men gestured toward the new arrival. Come on, get in. Another officer grabbed their backpacks, tossing them into a different vehicle without ceremony. The doors sealed shut, engines flared, and the sky pulled them upward. They flew over the lush, unforgiving jungle, the landscape shifting beneath them, a tangled sea of green and shadow. As the compound neared, the world below revealed itself. They hovered just outside the fence, the air beneath them kicking up dust and forgotten memories. John's fingers tightened on the seat, his eyes locked on the ruins of their captivity. The man in charge peered down through the window. His gaze swept over the structure, searching, remembering. This used to be a camp for pipeline workers years ago, he muttered. primarily to himself. It's been abandoned for a long time. His eyes narrowed. You said you were here? Yes, John answered. A pause, a moment of calculation. Then the man gave a slight nod. Okay, let's head back. John hesitated. You believe us, right? The man exhaled, his expression unreadable. Then he let out a short, almost begrudging chuckle. Nobody would know about this place unless they'd been here. So yeah, I believe you. But his tone shifted, becoming colder. We'll take you back. See what they want to do with you. No more words were exchanged. The cars lifted, turning toward civilization. They flew in silence, the jungle shrinking beneath them. Then barriers. The first was a tangle of obstacles, a maze so dense that no massive creature could navigate through it. Beyond it, a canal, deep, treacherous, an abyss waiting for anything foolish enough to test its depths. And past that, emptiness, a stretch of barren land, meticulously stripped of anything that could provide cover or concealment. And finally, the wall, massive, imposing, final. Guns lined its upper edges, motionless yet watching, waiting. Tom's voice was quiet, awed. That looks like a fortress. John shook his head, his eyes fixed on the impenetrable defenses. I don't think we would have made it across. He pointed toward something near the base of the canal. There, he muttered. Wreckage. Looks like drones tried to cross and failed. Scott exhaled, nodding. According to the data I found, the wall has entrances for land vehicles. That would have been our only way through. Tom leaned back against his seat, still gazing at the massive fortress below. Good thing we didn't have to try. Soon they reached the water treatment plant. Beneath them, a complex of industrial infrastructure unfolded. Large storage tanks, a maze of intertwining pipes, steel veins pulsing with unseen energy. The cars settled onto the ground, and before any of them could process what came next, the door swung open. A uniformed man stood outside, his expression unreadable. Out! The group hesitated only a second before stepping onto the hard pavement. The air smelled of processed water, metal, and something faintly chemical. Two armed guards flanked them, escorting them toward a featureless gray cement building. One of the guards pushed open a heavy door and gestured them inside. They were led to a plain, unremarkable conference room, a long table, chairs, a room built for orders and bureaucratic decisions, not lost college students. Before anyone could sit, a tall, thin man entered. His crisp white shirt and tie seemed out of place, as if he had stepped from an entirely different reality. His voice was efficient, impersonal. Please provide your names and identification numbers for verification. John crossed his arms. What are you going to do with us? The man barely acknowledged the question. His tone was exhausted, detached, and rehearsed. Normally, trespassers would be taken to the police station, but with the drone activity in the area, no one is permitted to drive into the city. His eyes flicked up, expression passive. And every available officer is busy defending against those things. Tom bristled. We're not trespassers. We were kidnapped. His voice edged into frustration. That's how we ended up in your building, or whatever you want to call it. The man finally showed a hint of amusement. Pumping station? Tom blinked. What? It's called a pumping station, the man said, waving a hand as if dismissing the confusion. Yes, I know your story. Terrible, isn't it? His voice flattened. Now give me your identification, then we'll see about letting you go. Tom exhaled. A shift, a change in priorities. What's going on with these drones? The man barely hesitated. No one's sure, he admitted. They say alien ships orbiting the planet released them, but no one knows who they are. The words hung in the air. They've caused destruction, some loss of life, but we've been able to fend them off, mostly. He leaned slightly against the table, adjusting his cuffs. Many drones have been destroyed, but they're not stopping. His tone turned brisk. Final. Now your information. One by one, they provided their names, their identification numbers, their only proof that they existed in this place. The man nodded once, then turned and left without another word. The click of the door locking behind him was sharper than it needed to be. John laughed, shaking his head. Chi frowned. What's funny? John smirked, half amused, half incredulous. My mom was always worried about me eating outside the school. He shook his head, eyes distant, mind elsewhere. She thought some places might be bad. If she only knew where I've been eating and what I've been doing since I got here. Chi let out a breath, half a chuckle, half something else. Yeah, mine too. Tom leaned back in his chair, arms crossed over his chest. My parents probably forgot about me by now. His voice was light, but there was something underneath it, something unspoken. He exhaled, shaking his head. I bet they rented out my room or something. Valerie's brow furrowed. She turned to Chi, whispering, Are his parents really like that? Chi leaned in, her voice low. No, they're not like that at all. He just puts on an act. Tom didn't even look at them. I heard that. He acted offended. He wasn't. The room settled into silence again. Minutes passed. The door opened and the man stepped in. He shut the door behind him, his presence once again shifting the air, reminding them that their fate was not yet their own. Okay, we contacted the university. His tone was blunt, professional, final. They confirmed that several students never checked into their rooms. A pause. Some of those students match your identifications. John exhaled, something inside him loosening for the first time. The man continued. We will transport you to the school once we're certain this area is clear of drone activity. Then, a reminder, a tether to responsibility. Of course, you'll need to speak with the police once things settle down. No one objected. A few of them nodded. Others exhaled, tension draining from their bodies. All right, someone murmured. The weight of relief, of exhaustion, of an end in sight. Tom stretched, cracking his neck. He grinned, shaking his head. It'll be nice to finally make it to school. No one disagreed.
Thanks for listening to another chapter of Into the 6th Millennium, The Invasion of Zephro. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss future audiobooks. You'll find links below to get the book, explore more titles from the series, and grab official merch. We've also included some affiliate links to the tools we use to bring this project to life.